Brian, El Presidente of the Amiga Sacramento Club. He's going to tell us about the Amiga Sacramento Club a little bit.
Well, we just had a lot of visitors today, which is very interesting for us. And had a guy from San Francisco come in. I had our friend who was doing the video come in. And it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun at the meetings. We have 10 meetings a year. And we just don't do Christmas and we don't do New Year's. So the other 10 months we do meetings, and you can find us at sac.org and find out exactly what we're doing, all kinds of download stuff and a lot of Amiga history on that site as well. So right now we're trying to expand the Amiga history part of it. So if you want to find out about Amiga, where it came from and where it's going, it's probably a great resource to have.
Yeah, SAAC.org, right?
SACC.
SACC.org.
Yeah.
And what keeps you passionate about the Amiga, man?
Well, I've been using one since 1986.
Yeah.
It bailed me out of a graduate school class. I was going to fail if I didn't have a computer that would print a paper legibly, and my A500 did that.
Right on.
So, cool. And it was I was working in the office of the school at the time, and using their PCs, which were pretty crude in 1986. And so I had this Amiga 500, nice color screen and printer drivers and all kinds of sound and good stuff at home. And then at work, I had a green screen with a blanking cursor. It just sat there and blinked at me. So I had to, of course, memorize all the command line stuff. And you could do things on it, but not very well.
Yeah.
So since then, I've been measuring everything against Amiga OS. Currently, I own about 27 Amigas that all run. And and at the AmiWest show this year, I'll be selling some of them. So if you want to buy one that's tested running, come to AmiWest in November 1 and 2 here in Sacramento.
All right, so I appreciate your time, Brian. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Download them, but I went ahead and downloaded the newer version and documented the steps using the newer software. If anyone's interested in the same condition, it's pretty straightforward. I just get the USB cable that's got the A on both ends, plug in the computer, plug into here, had to solder on some pin headers and jumper a few things, and then I just download the firmware from GitHub, quick flash, it plops it on there, and it worked. So I don't know if I'm lucky or just read well, but it worked first time. And one of the reasons I did it was I wanted to put in a larger
First time
screen,
magic.
because this is the one that had the old style, what is it, the 7 lines, the three characters, 3 numbers. I can't figure what they call those. But anyways, it was ugly and nasty, and now it's got the display in there, so it'll actually tell you the ADF that's loaded. I added the rotary dial on there, so you don't have to be using the buttons anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of put it back in the case temporarily. Had to kind of Dremel out some room for that bigger screen, just to keep it safe until I can 3D print something more appropriate to put in the Amiga. So, but it's fully functional. It works. The little jumpers you see here are part of the rotary dial that have to be jumpered in. When I go to do the final build on that, I might solder it in, or I might just leave it jumpered. Big difference either way.
The ST32 chip inside this.
So, and some of the stuff that I picked up was just, I lifted the images off of their docks. So these are one load of their images. My plan may be a little ambitious. I want to put this in a 3000. And if you're familiar with the 3000, it's got that beautiful case, but the floppy drives are molded into the front case. So what I'd like to do is the second drive always came with a cover that just clicked right in. I'm hoping to get my kid to help me to model one of those and extrude it out a little bit to hold the electronics, to hold the dial, to hold the screen, and pull that and have the USB slot. So extend that outside and then take it internally through the floppy drive hole to the electronics that would just be mounted on just a generic mount slide.
So this is a lot more 3D printing.
Well, it's a lot more modeling, really. So we'll see. I've found people have already modeled replacement covers for the 3000. So I've done a little bit of looking at Fusion 3D to try to figure out how to get in there and Because I really just need to
The pizza party is now here, guys, so pretty freaking cool. Everyone's able to grab some pizza pie, so pretty freaking good, super stoked. Everyone's enjoying their pizza. Anyway, ooh, look, Amiga. We're doing Amiga Club.
Back in the days of 77, a vision sparked, a dream was heaven. Jack Tramuel had a plan in sight to bring computers to the light. The PT-1001 was first to rise, a metal box, a grand surprise, built for schools, for business too, a keyboard chiclet, small but true. From B to D, the story grows, 664, the legend flows, Amiga dreams and neon streams. From B to D, the story grows, 664, the legend flows, Commodore lives on in our machines. '80 brought something new, affordable power, a colorful view. The VAce-20 made it stand, first to sell 1 million, oh so grand. Games and graphics, simple yet bright, cartridges snapped in pure delight. Televisions turned to screens, computing power in our dreams. So B to V for yours, 664, the lessons low. I wanted one and I'm his dreams. Then came the king, the CC4, the best-selling legend forevermore. Sprites and sounds, see so sweet, took the world up off its feet. With 16 colors, 64K, gamers and coders paved the way. Tapes, discs, and modem calls, hacking, trading, breaking walls. Apple and IBM took the stage, Commodore fought but lost its rage. Jack moved on, the dream got tough, but the fire still burned, earned enough. 500 made it to the crowd, and getting beats that made us caters proud. Music video, demos too, Amiga showed what it could do.
Okay. Okay. And in the meantime, you guys taught me the 2-button click that I did not know about.
That's okay. A lot of like classic Amiga users didn't.
It's amazing.
Hey, my mouse doesn't work. Does it do? Yeah, it does that.
You can actually hit both of the buttons at the same time too. That's what they mean.
So I probably need to restore you back to
A comic store in San Francisco. I sell the zine in my comic book store, but also through the magic of archive.org, it runs in browser on a VMAC. So most people who read my zine have no ability to use a floppy disk, but they, it's just kind of a cool archive or a cool little item that they have, kind of like a download code almost. Machine and a glue stick, and that is my history. And a couple years ago, well, I didn't have a computer as a poor kid, so I didn't have a computer most of my life. A couple years ago, I found out about Apple HyperCard. And this woman down in LA who was making DiskZines and selling them at record stores and giving them out at the nightclub. And I was like, oh man, that's so cool, I want to do that. And now that I have an Amiga, my hope is that I can make like an even cooler version, or even different, even cooler, more Amiga thing for the Amiga 40th anniversary, because I think that would be awesome, right? So if you have art or graphics or music that we can publish on a zine for this thing, let me know. I'm looking for people. Because I own a comic store in San Francisco, all last week was Game Developers Conference. And so I hit up every GDC person who I know who comes in every year. And I've got a Swedish guy named Pierre Solar, who's going to give me some art that he did back in the 90s, Amiga art that he's never shown anybody. Anyways, so, but here's what I did for my Apple HyperCard. It's called NEUROBLAST. It's a San Francisco cyberpunk magazine. The first issue is kind of like a flip book. There's some of my artwork. Hit the interface button and you get to the Dispatch from the Cyberpunk City, San Francisco, March 30th, 2023, right? So, I wrote this article. This is my intro here. All good zines have a manifesto, so of course my zine has a manifesto, right? Gotta have a manifesto. So that was like the first issue, and then I did the biggest fan I had of that first issue is a guy who owns the TNA Lounge, which is this bar where they're doing this Tron screening tonight. He was super into it, and once a year he does a screening for the movie Hackers, which is a movie that he absolutely loves. It's kind of a life-changing movie for him because JWZ was the original programmer on Netscape Navigator and was like, I gotta get out of the tech industry, and cashed out a bunch of years ago, like way back. And he was like, I'm opening up a nightclub. And the nightclub that he most loved in all of movies was the nightclub in the movie Hackers. It's got rollerblade ramps in it, they have like giant wipeout like screens to play video games on. So once a year, he does a screening of this movie, and even builds, he's crazy, he builds rollerblade ramps in this bar, he has wipeout on the giant screen. So I was like, do you want to collaborate on a special issue for your next Hackers screening? He was like, yes. And so here he wrote about these parties that he throws at his bar, and did the photos. Super cool, right? Yeah. And you can even see along the sides of the screen, there's this rollerblade ramps. That's awesome. He's insane. And then because they play that Wipeout game in that movie, back in the day, there's this weird Namco controller called a Negicon. That's a twisting controller, and legendary in the world of the Wipeout players. And so, I don't know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, something like that, I got a bug up my butt, and I was like, I'm buying one of those controllers. I'm gonna see it. Do you actually get better times in your races with that controller? And for me, it was like instant. It was like immediate. It looks stupid. It doesn't seem like it would be great, but it's great.
Is it for roll control of your?
Yeah. And it's PlayStation's first analog controller. So the twisting, the turning is analog, and then the two buttons, bottom buttons there, are both analog buttons. So that's for your brace and your acceleration. So it's.
That's cool.
It's actually really, really cool. So and like legitimately absolutely worked for me. So I thought, okay, for this issue, I'm going to join a Facebook group of like all these like world record Wipeout players, and I'm going to interview them and see if they like this Negicon, right?
Wait, there's a Facebook group for Wipeout?
Oh, yes. So yeah, I interviewed this guy from Germany who's like a world record holder, and I interviewed a guy from Portugal. It says Slip Steve in San Francisco Bay Area, USA. That's me. I am no world record holder. I interviewed this guy from Europe, Naz from UK, and then Techno Mike from Columbia, South Carolina. And you know, as a writer of an article, you don't want everybody to just agree, right? If you want there to be some different stuff there, but 100% everybody was like, oh, the Negicon is the greatest controller, the Negicon is the greatest controller. And then Techno Mike is like, the Negicon sucks, it's all hype, no way. He was the last guy to contribute, so.
Up dudes, Gelfinger Gaming here. We're still at the Amiga meeting. Just so you know, the video is not going to be too in-depth and stuff because two of the presenters today, one's a beta tester and another one's doing a secret project. So I couldn't really film it all, but that's okay because I still have some pretty good stuff to show you guys. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the video this far. But I'll get a little more content before we head to the house.